A Summer of Madness. Yo, what's going on? It's Someone That's Someone, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Charles when this happened, over a decade ago. The drugs used, Datura, cannabis, and pills, unknown. The route of administration, smoked. Gender, male. Weight, he started at 130 pounds and lost 10 pounds over the summer. Age, between 15 and 16. And his prior experience, quote, marijuana, narcotics, and opiate painkillers. Alright, so today we have a collective Datura experience. This isn't the first time we covered a story like this, but basically some people end up liking deliriums, to the point where it's even addictive. Now, to actually do Datura is one thing, to do it again is another, but to actually like it to the point where you do it habitually is a whole other rarity. Like the past experiences we've covered, in result, Charles does end up in many delirious situations, and both his mind and body suffer. It takes him ending up in the psych ward to finally break things off after an overdose. It is somewhat of a brief account, but what he describes gives us a good idea of what he went through. I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. This report is about my experience with Datura, gyms and weed, sacred Datura, whatever you want to call it. I was about 15 or 16 at the time. I am now 28. My weight was about 130 at the beginning, 120 at the end. School ended for the summer, and I ran out of my usual substances. So out of boredom, I harvested a few ounces of the root from the Arizona desert I live in. It grows literally everywhere. I dried the roots out and shredded them up with a cheese grater and began smoking them in the early part of summer break. I got a mild euphoria and hallucinations that I did not realize were not real. I would sleep all day and sneak out of my window at night. I don't remember a lot about the experience, as I was mostly delirious throughout the summer. I remember I was extremely sensitive to light because my eyes were extremely dilated. I would hide in the shadows and smoke all night. I remember thinking the moon was my only friend and looking up at its face and feeling comforted by it. I thought that when I was in the shadows, I was invisible. I felt like I was dead and had become a ghost. One time, I was sitting next to the soda machine at a nearby trailer park in the shadows, and a woman walked up to the soda machine I was sitting next to. She didn't even see me though. She was less than 3 feet away from me. I said, "Hello?" and scared the shit out of her. A different time, I dressed in dark clothing and painted my face black with shoe polish. That was a complete pain to wash off, and put a chain over my shoulders and snuck up to a fellow classmate's window at 3 a.m. Obviously, I didn't like him. I had huge dilated eyes, a mask, and everything, and knocked on his window. He came to the window and completely freaked out and screamed for his daddy. His dad came to the front door as I was walking away. He shined a light on me as I was walking away, and I kept walking. I walked about a half-mile away where I could still see his house, sat in the dark shadows, and watched the cops show up and talk to the horrified classmate. And after a while, I got bored and left. By the end of the summer, I was fried crispy, so to speak. My homie said when I got back to school that fall, "What the fuck happened to you? You're fried." I went back to using weed, pills, and Datura, and ended up in the psych ward not long after that for an overdose. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I ended up dropping out of school for a while. But I went back and got my diploma later. I have never been the same since. Since then, I have tried a lot of drugs. But mostly now I just do shrooms once in a while. A word of advice. Do not try Datura. It is poisonous. It will mess up your brain in a very bad way, if you live through it at all. I was extremely lucky to survive, and to be able to tell about it at all. Stay away, stay alive. To this day, I'm still sensitive to light. I still have to take medication for schizophrenia, and probably always will.